5 power laws that you look at all the evidence. 1 is don't smoke. 2 is 6 hours a week of exercise. The details of that, it's 4.5 hours in zone 2 through 4. So that's roughly 110 BPM to 159 BPM. Changes a little bit according to your chronological age. And then 90 minutes a week above 159. And then 3 is a BMI between 18.5 and 22.5. 4 is a blueprint-like diet. And 5 is little to no alcohol. If you do those 5 things, you get roughly 32 years of life. You'd have a life expectancy of around 92. Here's the bad news. That also means you need to stop the bad stuff. Whether it's peanut butter at 11 o'clock at night, or whether it's the cookies or whatever. A lot of people want to do things that are positive for their body and their mind, but they get stuck on the personalization and it's overwhelming, and then they do nothing. They feel paralyzed. And so my experience has been these power laws help make it understandable so people can say, I can do something that affirmatively is positive for my health, and I don't need to feel overwhelmed with this endless list of stuff.
One of the challenges that I have is that my brain wants me to eat Sour Patch Kids.
See what I'm talking about? Everyone's got their thing, yeah.
And so what tips do you have on how I can overcome that archaic dopamine system that wants me to trash my body?
I call my version of myself Evening Bryan. He showed up at 7 p.m. And so he would be on shift when I was tired and I had fought the day's battles at the company, bathed and fed the kids, had a fight with a partner, and then you settle in and you just want to be soothed from the pain. And sometimes that's the kitchen or the pantry. And I tried to stop this guy hundreds of times from doing it. And no matter how much I promised myself I wouldn't do it, I would do it. And then that would wreck my sleep. It would make the next day awful. I would be grumpy and irritable. It would lower my mood. Had this really compounded effect where life kind of was not great. And so one day, out of desperation, I said, Evening Bryan, you're fired. I'm done with you. Like, you make my life miserable. And weirdly, I kind of had a smirk and was like, okay, this is kind of an interesting thought. And I just made a rule that between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., Bryan could not eat. No matter what. He couldn't even eat broccoli. It was just nothing. And so I wrote down his name, Evening Bryan. I made a list of all of his clever arguments, like just today, this is a special occasion, just one, all the clever things he said, and very persuasive. And then I would say, thank you for your suggestions, Bryan. We are not going to do that. And I was slowly able to wrestle control, and then I could go to other versions of Bryan that I didn't like and say, hello, Bryan. I appreciate your existence. We're also going to stop doing these things. And remarkably, I would say I have almost eliminated all negative behaviors in my life.
Oh, wow.
I just don't have vices. And it's actually remarkable coming from a place where I was just unable to control myself in the most basic of ways. And it's such a liberating experience where I can now, if I feel the urge to do something, I can look at that and say, I know what pain it's going to cause. It's absolutely not worth it, and I don't want it.